Good morning, everyone. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And ping circles. And reverse. When you work with a stick, this is a short staff. You know, it's called a walking stick, and it is a walking stick. But it's a it's called a gun. Gunn. Hold on a second. Sorry, it's a mess over there. All right, this is a tall gun. This is a tall staff. All right, so it's a little higher than you are yourself. This is a short staff, and then there are even shorter sticks. I don't know where I've got mine. Oh, over here. All right, and there's actually another one in the middle. There's actually 4 of them. And when you work with any kind of stick, even in these little exercises, all right, you have to think of the stick as an extension of your body, right? That strike, that's my body out there. And the reason you need to think of it as part of your body is your mind needs to move inside the stick because your chi follows your mind. So if you're sort of half asleep and you just sort of feel something under your hands, but your mind is not extending, then your chi will not extend either. I'll show you another trick. This is really obvious with the sword, right? How do you use a sword? The pointy end goes into the other guy, right? So when you strike or poke with a sword, your mind needs to go down the shaft of the sword, right, to the point. However, there are many other ways to use the sword. There's slashing, right? In which case your mind is on the edge of the sword. There's also blocking, right? So you might even block with the sword. I don't know whether you can see the first 10 inches or so of the sword. There's no edge. It's just a bar of steel, and that's used for blocking. So when you block something, you better have your mind on the place where you block. Otherwise, there won't be any strength in it. And you can prove that to yourself just by doing a little sword sparring with someone. All right? It's the same with our sticks. What did I do with my stick? I don't know what I do with my stick. I'll have to grab Annie's. All right? When you're using a stick, you're doing all kinds of things with it. Your mind should be in the wood. That's one of the reasons we use wood and not plastic or something, because wood is organic, and so it's a little friendlier to our minds and our energy. All right? So when you're doing these 3 circles, we'll start with the shoe circle. All right? When you're doing these circles, your mind should be in the middle of the stick, and then it moves out to the end of the stick. Boom. Boom. All right? Now, we're not so definite, and it's very gentle. Nevertheless, on the left side, the right side, the left side, the right side. And reverse, all right? Reverse, reverse. When you do this gently, all right, like we exercise, that's in the Ilu system. That's in the first road system. When you put a little oomph into it, that's in the Erlu system, the second road system. Usually when you're practicing, and especially when you're practicing in public, you never do the second system. You always do the first system, the very gentle system. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons. One is when you do Erlu, when you do the second road system, you're actually shooting some energy out. So you do an hour of that, you're going to be tired. And the point of these exercises is not to get tired, it's to gain energy, not to use energy. In the martial arts, of course, sometimes you are going to use energy, so it's okay to practice that way. But for us, since we're oriented toward health and self-development, the soft system is better. There's another reason they didn't do the hard system. They didn't want anybody stealing it. If you're practicing, as many people in China do, right, out in a public park or even on the street, or at least they used to do it on the street, I don't know if they do anymore, right? You don't give anything away, right? These are your master's secrets, so you just do it very gently so that nobody can figure out what it is you're actually doing. However, even though it's gentle, you're still using your mind. You're still exercising your energy and the physical structure on which that's built, right? Okay, let's do Li circles. And I'm going to stand at a little angle here, right? Here, the mind can be on the piece of the wood under your hands and between your hands. And reverse. So what are those? All right. There's the heirloom version of that. Yesterday I demonstrated when we were doing elbows, right? I demonstrated what this movement is. Well, that's the same with the stick. Someone's got their hands on you. You come up underneath. You don't grab them. You come up underneath and kind of just like sort of glue, you sort of come along. And you think, well, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, it will. All right? You're actually bring them in closer to you. And what they're going to do 99 times out of 100 is when they feel you drawing them in, they will begin to move backward. They may not even be conscious of this, but you will be conscious of it because you have trained your Tingjin. All right? So you bring them in. Oh, you start to feel them move back. Boom! All right? That's when you shove them backwards. It's when you counterattack. So the first part of this movement, this is a yin movement here. You're bringing them in, you're bringing the energy in. And then you push it out. In, out. Now we do it very, very gently, a nice full circle, but that's what the two sides of the circle are. Bring it in, push it out. Bring it in, push it out. That's what you're practicing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, we do this fast enough. If you try to breathe in and breathe out at that rhythm with regular breaths, you're going to hyperventilate. So the way I do it is I just keep my air passages open and I let the movement itself breathe me, if that makes any sense. All right? I'm not deliberately breathing in and breathing out. I'm just letting it happen through the structure of the movement itself. That works for the stick, but it also works for all the other exercises too. When you get to some of the routines we do, which are genuinely slower than this, although Master Zhang always said I was too fast. You too fast. All right? Nevertheless, we do some slower routines like Fang Zhong Gong and Huanyan Qigong. There you can do a little bit more deliberate breathing, do some of the reverse yogic breathing because it works very well with that rhythm, all right? But not this one. Okay, the reverse of this, all right? Okay, for those who have done the form, you may remember that in the very first movement of the form, it looks like this. Right here. Same thing. So what are you doing? Imagine that you're pushing hands with someone or doing a little sparring, and this person puts their hands on your shoulders or on your chest or something. You don't attack them directly, at least not at first. You don't attack their hands. You kind of come up inside their hands. So their hands maybe are on your shoulders. They've got you like this, right? You come up inside their hands, come over their shoulders, and boom, pull them down. Make sense? That's what you're doing. Well, that's one thing you can think of. Okay, let's do ping circles, right? Ping circles are a little tricky. I wish I had somebody here to demonstrate this with. There's different things you can think about, but probably the easiest way to think about this is to pay attention to the stick right underneath your hands, right? I'm gonna go to the left here. I want you to watch this hand. It's moving, it's spinning the stick. And now this continues the spin. Spin, 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 spin. Now I hope you feel when you do that, that's activating the daimai around the waist. Now, of course, what's really going on is the daimai around the waist is activating the wrist. But sometimes it's easier to start the learning process from the outside of the body and work inward. Spin, spin.
So the stick is turning continuously.
It's turning continuously. That's right, Kevin.
Okay.
Spinning, spinning, spinning the same direction. Now, you don't have to make a big deal about it. It can be quite light, right? But what you're really trying to do is get your waist moving. Because the stick is going in a circle like this. The reason it's going in a circle is that you are going in a circle around your waist. And that's being transferred into the stick. Now let me show you what you're doing actually. So this is someone's forearm. Here's their elbow, here's their hand and wrist, right? If you're going to do a joint lock on someone, if you try to do it with your arms, you're not going to succeed. Maybe with someone who's really small and light, under 110 pounds or something, you would succeed. What you have to do is activate your core. And I'm not going to put my whole costume on, but let me put the Dan Chen here, right? What does it is the waist, the daimai, the kwa, the hip joints, and the Dan Chen. Just watch the white here. It's the entire weight of your body on the guy's hand and wrist. And this is the counter move. So this is the fulcrum. This is the lever. All right? Now, that just turns into what we were just doing. I'm practicing moving my waist. All right? So it looks like, oh, the practice is the stick. No, that's just the wrapping. That's just the wrapping on the box, right? What's inside the box is this. Those of you who know the form may remember a move like this. Here, right? That's exactly the same thing. Boom, boom. It's twisting. I don't know whether you can see this. It's not just going around the waist. It's hard to talk about these things. What Master Zhang would do when he would explain this, which by the way, was maybe once every 3 or 4 years he would explain this to the group. So if you didn't stick around, you never got it. What he would do is, and he had even more trouble because he didn't speak much English, little English, but he wasn't capable of talking about all this in English. What he would do is say, Kevin, Kevin, come, right? And Kevin would come up, and he would have Kevin stand here, and he would take and face his side. He would take Kevin's right hand and put it on his belly, and he takes Kevin's left hand and put it on his Ming Mun in the back. And then he would do this, and he would say, squeeze, so you can feel inside what's going on. Did you really understand it? No, not really. But what you understood was, oh my God, the inside of his body is like a bunch of gears working together. It's like a machine. And for him, it really was after 50 years of doing this, right? So that's what you're practicing. Even when you do a little movement like this, it's very gentle. It doesn't have to be extreme to work as a learning and training regime. What's important is that you do it with your mind. I'll tell you an example. When I went to college, which was sometime back in the Middle Ages, I went to Indiana University. When Bobby McKnight was the coach of the basketball team. And Indiana had the basketball team. They also had a big psychology department at IU down in Bloomington. And they did an experiment with the basketball team. Now, this wasn't during a game, it was just during practices. Did it over a period of time. And they took two groups. So they had an active group, and then they had a study group, but no, they didn't tell anybody what was going on, so they didn't know. And what they did was practice free throws. And they would have one group practice 100 free throws every afternoon for 10 days or something. I don't remember what it was. So they're just practicing free throws. Boom, 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 boom. They had the other group practice with their mind. Just stand there and close your eyes and imagine that you're making the perfect free throw. And then they tested them to see what their free throw averages were. And I don't remember what their testing procedure was, but it was a fairly extensive testing procedure. Both groups improved the same amount. You didn't have to actually physically do it to improve. You had to do it with your mind. And it's exactly that same approach when you are doing these exercises. You don't have to be extreme, but you do have to use your mind for these things to work. And these things to work not in just the sense of learning to do good free throws, but for it to work in the sense of moving the chi through your body. And since we're here for health benefits, and that is the prerequisite for health benefits, use your mind. Master Zhang used to say, I'll translate it in English, don't do empty Tai Chi. Don't do empty Qigong. Don't just be wandering off somewhere. Have your mind on what you're doing. Okay. I'll let you figure this one out. Watch the white. And reverse. Do you see the white going all the way to the right? And now all the way to the left. And block. Still all the way to the right, all the way to the left. So when you do these pumps, these overhead pumps, center chest, Ming Man. Center chest, Ming Man. Right? You're pumping in between these 2 points. And you think, well, I mean, that's sort of a silly little exercise. Yeah, it is until you get into a wrestling match with somebody and you need this joint between the chest and the stomach is the single biggest, strongest joint in the body. Of course, it's essentially your spine, but it gets very little exercise in our modern world. So you got to exercise it a little bit. Now you got to add your legs in on this too. And the way to do that for every one of these exercises, but this is a good exercise to call it out because you don't really think about your legs in this exercise. You're thinking so much about this, you just sort of forget about your lower body, but you can't. And after you do it for 40 years, after you do it for 3 or 4 years, you'll just do it without even thinking about it. But this is how you do it, and it's always the same. When you come up, you put a little more weight on the right leg. When you go down, you put a little more weight on the left leg. Right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, all right? So you're just constantly going back and forth. And I mean, by a little more weight, I mean it's almost more in your mind than it is in your body. Some exercises, you are definitely, right? You are definitely going to be changing your weight. That's an exercise we haven't done yet. You're always going to be changing your weight. But these ones, right? Up on the right, down on the left. Now this one, because these movements are so short, I'm going to come up on my left and go down on my right again. Up on my right, down on my left. Up on my left, down on my right. So you can make up your own rhythm. The point is to constantly shift your weight in relationship to the movements that you're making. And again, it's like 48-52. It's just a very small little movement for this kind of move. But keep that moving and it will include your lower body. Okay, all right. All right, you can put away your sticks. And the wrists. And the other side. And double. And stretches. All right, so you should pull your elbow down toward your middle line. Believe it or not, that's as that's as far down as mine goes. And pull. I got my finger wrapped on here to pull down. Don't hurt yourself, but give it a good stretch. And the other side. Alright. And then cross one hand over the other, close around, right? And then turn your dantian over. Right? Bring your weight to the right, bring your weight to the left. You want to actually, if you can, bend your fingers back. Again, don't hurt yourself, but give it a good stretch. And the other side. Turn the dantian. And relax your wrists. Now you can do this any way you want, but I'll tell you how I do it, right? Your dantian is going boom, boom, boom. And that's reaching up into your hands, especially the longest finger in the middle. Boom, 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 boom. And then you just sort of relax that and let that go into the wrists. Doling. So I'll tell you what you're doing when you do the shaking exercise. Have you ever taken your laundry out of the dryer and you come in and you throw it on your bed and you're going to sort your laundry and it's all full of static and things are clinging to each other, and there's, if it's in the winter, there's little sparks and you get, right? Well, that's what happens with your body. When you're doing these exercises, you're getting the static out. Just shake it out. Boom. All right? At least it works for me. Now, do you all know where the 7 chakras are? The crown chakra, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the dantian, the sexual organs, and the root chakra at the base of the spine. When we do our final exercise, what you're doing is reaching up into the sky and gathering cosmic chi, free chi, right? And you breathe it into first the crown chakra. Let it flood the crown chakra. And then poof, blow it out. So I sort of always think of it as just blowing the dust out of the chakras. You're recharging them a little bit, but you're also sort of cleansing them. You're cleaning them, all right? It's like going out in the morning with your hose and cleaning off your driveway or something. So first, crown chakra. Breathe in, poof, breathe out. Third eye, throat, heart, dantian, sexual organs, and your root chakra. Now, if you want to know the difference between doing any of these exercises mindfully or not mindfully, that is, full or empty, the trick, you can look at this last exercise that I just described. If you do this exercise without being mindful about each of the chakras and really feeling it in your mind there, you won't feel anything. But if you do it mindfully, it should feel good, and it should feel like it really invigorates us, so you can prove it to yourself. Jill, you look like you got something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm correlation. So it's like the root chakra or
Crown chakra.
crown chakra is the universe. And,
There are different. Yes, go ahead.
but it seems to correlate. Like
Yes,
wind is throat.
there are different ways to do this. As always, there are 3 or 4 popular ways to do this. I'm just teaching you the simplest one, but I actually think it's the most effective one. It's the simplest one, which is, we're not gonna get into, oh, this is from the earth and this is from stars and this is from the sun. Just think of it as cosmic chi. It's the chi all around you. It's the chi you swim in, right? That goes all the way out to the extent of the universe. So just bring that into the crown chakra, wash it all out really good, and then blow it out. And just go right on down the line. We can do the more complex ones later, but this is the one I do all the time.
I don't know. I was having fun correlating.
Well, it is fun. It is fun, and it's interesting to get the feel for that. So you can do ones that are related to the earth. You can do ones that are oranic. You can do ones that are chthonic. But the one I just mentioned and described is the simplest one, and I think actually the most effective one. At least it is for me right now. Okay. And touch the earth. And close your pores. salute our masters, and salute your classmates. Thank you, everybody. Guys, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Ciao.